Welcome back. So tomorrow is Sunday, and that's the day I am going to send my fastest limitless down the road with the gyro, with the front all locked up, and hopefully set a new PB tomorrow. First time I'll be running a limitless with a gyro in it for a full rip. The testing went real well at 110 on some small packs, and not staying in it because I did a short rip on a road that was busy. So before I actually rip that, this was my blue one that I crashed, that I revamped and fixed. This is what I call my limitless number 2. It used to have a blue body. This white body was for my fastest limitless because of the damage that I have on this body. This body's pretty old. But I originally, crashed it and decided, you know what, let's throw some new stuff on it, throw some new stuff at it, and go give it a rip. Right now it has the 1515 2200 kV censored motor in it with a MMX8S. It's a very basic system, nothing's been flipped. It does have Flowpack's rear drive shaft assembly in it, and I've strengthened up the chassis using some front and rear chassis braces off eBay. So, and then I've got the RC speedmonsters.com. I got his new front splitters, which I'm going to make sure they don't come off. I got his new plastic front splitter and his new rear plastic wing Plexan. So hopefully it doesn't crash, because I watched JT crash and this stuff shattered pretty easy. So I do have the little bat wings underneath the bottom of this thing. So yeah, we're going to send this tomorrow as well with no gyro. This is going to be my test RC. I always have a test RC. And this one's always gone pretty straight until the last rip when I crashed it. So I'm possibly going to throw in the Hootie fans, because this motor gets really hot, overpowering it on 8S. So I'm either going to throw in the Hootie fans, or I'm going to go ahead and click in my my 3-pack from Game Changer RC. So if I can squeeze the Game Changer in here, which I think I might be able to do, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Keep this motor nice and cold so I can do a lot of test ripping before I send the other RC. I do have a buddy coming down to help me do a speed run with this thing tomorrow, to check the road so we can make sure traffic is clear before I go ahead and try to send this thing, down the road as fast as I plan on sending it. So, but with that said, I liked the way I felt the front end on the one I had at the gyro. So today we are going to take the front diff out. I'm going to go ahead and throw a million weight in the front here so it'll drive off the front. Hopefully keep this RC straight in case it gets out of control. Get some control without a gyro. So one screw there. We are going to have to remove this front plastic deal. I'm probably going to throw these on my fastest one on the test hits so that I can make sure I have control of the RC before I take those off. And then we're going to go ahead and flip it here. So on these splitters, you just have to take out the end ones. Nuts on the back, that's why you see my hand go to the back of this thing, because you don't want to push forward and knock those nuts out from the other side. Sometimes they will come off. Now these have nuts on the back side too, which you can kind of reach them. and then this whole front should slide off. And flip these shocks up. Now I don't remove these little set screws here. I just back them off, fit in a groove. So you can slide those things out without removing that set screw on the back side. So you don't need to remove those set screws. With that, turn the wheel, go ahead and compress the shock and flip it up. Turn it the other way, compress the shock and flip this side up like that. And then we take our rubber band, Game Changer supplies with his fans, and that's going to hold that up. Go ahead and loosen that up so that it slides. And we're going to go to the other side, loosen that up till it slides on the sway bar. So 4 there. And then this cover will pop off. Now I use pliers that I open up, I just grab it and crack it loose. And then now all we have to do, and remember, the gear, the ring gear is driver's side. Now these diff cups have a flat spot in it. The flat spot will barely clear the shock tower brace. So that's why we fight to get this thing in and out. You'll see right there that that's hitting. You just got to turn it a little bit and the diff will come right out. So here's my little diff rebuilding thing. And as you see, I've had this laid upside down to get all the fluid out of it. We're gonna take this out. Get all that out, make sure our pin is still in there. These diffs have proven to be good time and time again. Now there is a shim and an O-ring. Now we're going to take our gear stack. This will allow me to let it sit in there. Because they are shielded bearings, you can get grease into them pretty easy. They have little tiny holes that you can inject. So I'll let it sit that way so the oil has a chance to soak right in. The needle nose and push that seal into its spot. Make sure that it's flat. We're going to find our hole. Glob up sun at the bottom. I'll turn that over so it has a chance to drain. I'm going to get our gear stack out. The round side goes down, and then there's a notch that faces up on the shaft. So round side down. You want the flat sides facing up. Now the notch is going to be facing down on the shaft. Flat sides up. We're going to lock all this into place. You know it's right when all of these flat spots are facing up. So now we're going to throw some more diff fluid in this. And we're going to let that settle down in there. And the gasket's already in there. Where's my pen? So that's all ready to squish back in there. So we're gonna let that settle in there and we'll be right back. And back. This thing is like glass topped off, probably got too much. It's been sitting for a couple hours. I literally got stuck on Pilot Ryan's live, so I've been watching that last couple hours. If you haven't seen it, he does air and surface. Really cool guy, a lot of great reviews. He's just getting into a lot of the ground stuff, which I like, so check him out. But I'm gonna go ahead and smush this thing together. But before I do that, I am going to steal these screws out of here because I don't know what I did with the screws for the other one, which is fine because I need to drain it. Be taking the dual motor felony, and I'm going to be doing the same thing. 1 million on the front. Off this edge. A couple of the bolts, start them with my finger so I know I'm lined up. Crisscross them, of course, push everything out. So just kind of hold the plastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to screw these in to where they're almost bottomed out. Whoa. And as you see, what happens is the hole next to it, fluid will come out of it. And along the gear, which the gear doesn't matter. It's kind of lubrication. We're going to clean it off anyway. But this excess that comes out of here, you definitely don't want to put a screw in that hole until you run Once you get the majority of it out, you can put your bolt in there. If this was thin fluid, say a 30K or 20K or something like that, just leave the two in there, leave it upside down for 10, 20, 30 minutes. That will, the fluid will drain out of it. These will settle down. I will be doing this by hand. So once you get to there, what I like to do, taking the excess off, what I like to do from this point is I'll turn it just to make sure I don't have those gears or anything locked up in there. You see that? Try to get this excess off of here. You don't have to get it all. Like I said, it's just kind of lubrication when you put your grease on there. Then we're going to take my hand wrench and we're going to check, because if you have too much fluid in there, it will settle. It will all leak out. It'll swoosh out through the gasket, through here, and then it will do what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to let this sit a few seconds because I know I'm not that full. It forced whatever I had in there to the bottom already. And as you saw, I put some in and then put my spider gears in there and then put some more. That way I have it top and bottom. We are now done with this. This is going in the car. I am going to throw some more oil on these bearings. Now remember, we discussed, this is going to go to our driver's side. Don't put it in backwards like I did the first throw. A little grease on it. There we go. Another way you can check it is while this is open, drive it. Make sure that the back wheels are rotating in the same direction. High temp disc brake. I use disc brake grease because it operates at a much higher temperature than drum brakes. So make sure if you're going to use wheel bearing grease, use disc brake. That's going to work really well for you. Then I take my heavy and I give it a tap so that it sits flat like that. I'm gonna, before I do any bolts or any of that stuff, I'm not gonna grab new napkins, save the earth. All that grease we put on the edge, you're gonna want to try to wipe out as much as you can because you don't want dirt to pile up there. Throw a little bit of brake cleaner because I didn't wash this out. Try to clean all this grease and stuff off these arms. And we're going to snug it to it. You don't have to go crazy with it. Now this one, same thing. There we go. Straight up and down. Now we're going to take our game changer rubber band that he sends. We're going to put that away back on our Burns-O-Matic. I did see RC Guy Garage pick up a Burns-O-Matic. I'm sure he's going to be really happy with it. When you're using a lot of Loctite, you really need a handheld torch. So I'm going to pop these back in. There. Two. Now we're going to tighten our set screws down, straighten our wheels. Remember, we didn't take out these bolts. You don't need to crank these down. There we go. Now we're going to grab, so make sure you crisscross these. Oh, wrong hole. In my hand. You kind of want it, that whole twist with my wrist is me holding it so it won't bite and strip it out. Once I know I'm close, grab the hand tool and just snug them down. There we go, and our diff is installed. So now what I'm going to do, slide on my front piece. Now, these go above the chassis, so make sure that you're above the chassis, slip it in. Back ones, take the short ones. My finger on the other side to hold the nut that's on the other side so I don't push it out. Start, before you even stick it in the hole, start turning it and let it itch its way in. And then it'll grab the nut on the other side so that you don't push those nuts out. Yes, I said nuts out. So then we're going to take our square, and these really will, if you tighten these down too hard, it will push the head of this through that plastic. You don't want that. So basically when it touches the plastic, let off. Or you're like me and you have one that has a setup to where it'll stop. Like that. That little ugga-dugga, as Kevin Talbert would say. I have it set on the lowest setting for my ugga-dugga. That's that sound that the impact tool makes. So we're going to grab our metal pieces, grab our plastic piece. So I always start with the center screw first, the one at the top. can use a washer there. I don't use a washer because if I hit something, I'd rather it pop through than to break the plastic. These are going to go on my speed car over there because they are a lower profile. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to get the fans clicked on here. Get my fan pack clicked in here. It looks like I'm going to have to trim off a couple of these nubs that are up here. So that I already have Velcro in here because this is where I put my GPS and all that stuff. So once I get this fan out of the way, I might have enough room to clear it. If not, I will cut these nubs a little bit. Now this one I'm running a really tall gear. In here, as you can see, this is a big pinion gear. It kind of matches my spool. So this is a 34-34. This RC is 1-to-1. If you guys are wondering, I am running this little tiny motor 1-to-1 on that setup. So I am going to lower the front of this RC down. I got the front way up, or the back way up too. I got everything cranked up on this thing because I was out running it. But I'm going to lower the whole RC down because there's too much gap right here. Don't want that much air. I did that for testing and bashing purposes. After I hit the curb, I set this up and re-ran it. But there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the 1 million diff fluid in the front. If you guys didn't catch the last one I did, I put 1 million in there and I put a gyro, and that car was real stable. Now I'm going to try it without the gyro and just the 1 million fluid in the front. We're going to see how straight this RC goes with no gyro in it tomorrow, same as my speed car over there.